Five-year-olds from the poorest parts of Scotland are twice as likely to be obese, as the latest figures reveal the gulf between the most and least deprived children is now wider than ever. The statistics reveal a dramatic shift over the past 17 years, with obesity rates climbing steadily to record high among poorest primary 1 pupils at the same time as it has declined to the lowest on record for those from the most affluent households. This has resulted in substantial inequalities in child unhealthy weight across Scotland, according to the Scottish Government's own health statistics body ISD Scotland. Campaigners said the findings were shocking as they urged ministers to urgently push through legislation banning retailers from selling junk food at special offer prices. Professor Linda Bauld, the Edinburgh University-based prevention expert for Cancer Research UK, said, "It's shocking so many very young children are at risk of being overweight or obese. But it doesn't need to be like this. The Scottish Government has a role to play here and must ensure that planned legislation to restrict junk food promotions is introduced and passed before the next Scottish Parliament elections." When the statistics for 5-year-olds starting school were first collected in 2001 halves, obesity rates were roughly the same regardless of deprivation. At that time, 9.9% of youngsters from the most deprived fifth of the population were considered at risk of obesity, meaning their body mass index, BMI, put them among the heaviest 5% for their age group. This compared to 10.1% for pupils from the least deprived category. By 2018-19, however, a record 13.7% of the most deprived 5-year-olds were at risk of obesity, compared to just 6.5% of P1 pupils from the wealthiest backgrounds. The gap between the two groups is the widest since the data was first collected 17 years ago. The ISD Scotland report notes that a similar pattern has also been seen in England, where statistics also show a strong, and increasing, association between deprivation and risk of overweight and obesity in childhood. The figures also cast doubt on the Scottish Government's ability to halve childhood obesity by its 2030 target. Once differences in socio-economic background are excluded, the overall percentage of obese 5-year-olds has barely changed in 17 years, from 10.15% in 2001 halves to 10.2% in 2018-19. Notably, the risk of being underweight, a BMI in the lowest 2% for the age group, has declined but remained almost identical regardless of background. Over the past 17 years, it has fallen from 1.7% for the most deprived 5-year-olds and 1.6% for the least deprived, to 1% for both groups. Overweight or obese children are much more likely to struggle with their weight and associated health problems as adults. OSP For more on this story, visit the news article link.